Operation Sindoor. India's initial Gambit. India launched Operation Sindoor on May 7, 2025. This military action targeted Pakistan over unproven allegations as justification for the April 22 Pahalgam attack. India stated its aim was to dismantle terror infrastructure allegedly located within Pakistan and Azad Jammu and Kashmir. The operation represented an unprovoked escalation by India, maybe because India was overconfident of Israeli military support. The international community watched, however, with concern. India's military claimed downright success in all its objectives. 9 alleged sites were reportedly struck. The implied goal was to avenge the Pahalgam incident. This was intended to deter any support for militant groups, as per Indian media. However, the evidence for these claims remained entirely unverified by independent sources at the time. Since no evidence of Pahalgam incident was ever provided by Indian authorities proving any involvement of Pakistan, attacks by India seemed one-sided aggression on uninvolved civilians and children. Indian Air Force, to their surprise, however, lost 5 fighter jets on day 1. As a result, India started sending drones in Pakistan on the following days. Pakistan patiently watched the targeting of its areas for continuous 3 days. International media was initially relying on official verdicts, but then had to report independently that there were no terror camps anywhere inside the targeted mosques and buildings. To the other end, taking Pakistan's silence as weakness, Indian media started making up false conquest stories against Pakistan. Indian channels reported Lahore seaport destruction when Lahore doesn't have a sea around it. Indian media also made fabricated claims of Pakistani army chief's arrest in Islamabad. That army chief was instead promoted in reality. Despite such unverifiable propaganda by Indian media at the time, the international response to Operation Sindoor was mixed. The United States, through Secretary of State Marco Rubio, reportedly shared intelligence with India of potential large-scale retaliation by Pakistan. But because of the enormous amount of restraint exhibited by Pakistan, India's rogue aggression grew more out of control as they arrogantly informed the US of more attacks if Pakistan tried to retaliate. Domestically, the Indian government's bold actions garnered widespread political support. A national mood eager for decisive action against the so-called perceived threats. Pakistan's patience was running out, and when Nurkan base was attacked on the 3rd night, a response had become unavoidable. On the 10th of May 25, after Fajr prayer, Pakistan launched its counter-operation, codenamed Bunyan ul Marsoos. This retaliatory strike commenced in a way that was beyond the wildest imagination of Indian armed forces. The operation was very carefully planned and executed. Pakistan's stated objectives were clear and militarily focused. It aimed to target key Indian military bases that were used to attack Pakistan. This demonstrated Pakistan's resolve to meet Indian aggression with significant force. India reportedly suffered substantial military setbacks during Operation Bunyan ul Marsoos. Multiple sources indicated the loss of 5 to 6 Indian Air Force jets on the first day of attack by India. Critically, these losses included 3 French-made Rafael fighter jets. It impacted both India's material combat capability and its military prestige on the regional stage. A strategically important brahmos supersonic cruise missile storage site was reportedly destroyed. Radars of India's S-400 air defense systems procured from Russia were also targeted and destroyed. Several key Indian airbases suffered hits, including Udhampur, Pathankot, and Udhampur. The extent of the damage challenged India's defensive preparedness. The conflict also took hits into the cyber domain. India experienced widespread disruptions due to cyber attacks. Reports indicated that up to 70% of India's national power grids were shut down. Indian government websites were compromised and defaced. Critical CCTV networks across various cities were also reportedly infiltrated. This devastation was paralyzing for the Indian armed forces at the same time was, showcasing Pakistan's multifaceted warring capabilities. Ultimately, as per CNN, India was forced to approach the United States to seek an immediate ceasefire, without naming them for face-saving and political point scoring before the public. The destruction of Indian Rafael jets had immediate economic repercussions. Dassault Aviation, the French aerospace manufacturer of the Rafael, felt the impact keenly. The company's market value plummeted by an estimated $1.5 billion sharply after the attack. The incident underscored the financial risks for defense contractors when their flagship products are lost or underperform in actual combat scenarios. In stark contrast, China's state-owned Aviation Industry Corporation of China, or AVC, experienced a surge. AVC's market value increased by over $11 billion during the same period. This dramatic rise was likely fueled by the perceived robust performance of Chinese-designed aircrafts in Pakistani service, such as the JF-17 Thunder and J-10C. This potentially signaled a shift in the global arms market's perception of Chinese versus Western platforms. Pakistan is reportedly acquiring J-35 stealth fighter jets from China within 2025. The J-35, also known as the FC-31, is a fifth-generation fighter. It aims to re-establish a credible military power balance with India. It might even provide Pakistan with a qualitative edge in aerial combat scenarios for quite some time in the future. India, despite officially denying its heavy losses, is now reportedly considering new fighter jet procurements. Frustration with the Rafael's performance against Pakistani J-10C and JF-17 jets appears to be a driving factor. New Delhi is exploring options for purchasing F-35 Lightning II stealth fighters from the United States. However, US seems reluctant because an F-35 getting shot by Pakistan could impact its market negatively. Alternatively, Russia's Su-57 Felon is also under consideration. But similar fears are on the horizon from the Russian side, making the deal improbable. This sharp decline of sellers' confidence has ultimately led India to announce their local fifth-gen stealth aircraft program. The recent conflict has perhaps accelerated shifts in regional geopolitics. Pakistan, China, Iran and Afghanistan are reportedly planning to enhance their collaboration in China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or CPC. Such a bloc could further integrate their economies and strategic interests. For India, this development points towards a worrying trend of increased regional isolation. Pakistan has also actively worked to strengthen its alliances beyond its immediate neighborhood. Ties with Turkey and Azerbaijan have reportedly been reinforced. Pakistani Prime Minister and Army Chief Field Marshal Asim Munir visited Turkey to express gratitude for Turkish support during the conflict. These alliances aim to counter perceived unilateral Indian aggression, such as abrogating the Indus Water Treaty. International diplomatic analyses following these events offer a sobering assessment for India. Many observers suggest that India's recent diplomatic and military strategies have compounded its challenges. This implies acknowledging the setbacks experienced during the May 2025 flare-up. A thorough strategic reassessment is deemed necessary, not to mention investigation results on who actually committed Pahalgam incident. Ultimately, India faces a critical choice. Instead of focusing on external conflicts, it should redirect its energies and resources inward. Pressing domestic issues demand urgent attention. Chief among these is the severe wealth inequality plaguing the nation. The top 10% of India's population currently holds a staggering 77% of the country's total wealth. Alleviating poverty and reducing this stark disparity must become India's paramount strategic priority. Apparently, Akhan Bharat dream of the few extremist ideological politicians in BJP cannot be allowed to rob Indian population of their development and prosperity in the name of false flag operations every now and then.